book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 14, and it reads, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." First and foremost, as always, in Allah Shwan Kodash, being a holy tongue, as in the Paleo Hebrew, being the ancient Hebrew, I'm going to give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is the God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Kodash, which is all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, whom is our strength and our Redeemer, and our light and our salvation. In the same tongue, Ma'adamashin Akabawadim, Laha Sequanium, Shal, Gadalrawakab, meaning double honors to the apostles and elder bishops, great millstone, and Shalom, honor and salutation to Bayashid Abadah, meaning the house of David of the 1/3 elected governing body of the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, along with the rest of the 1/3 elect men and women and children of Israel. All right, and this is your fellow servant Malak Rayab, back at it again, which is a quick prophetic update. One of these last few major prophecies being Harmagad 1. All right, the biblical war. All right, for this last third woe, as in this last world's war, we being the third installment of this world war, being known as World War III. Further intensifying between these world leaders, right, including Amalek, or the chief family of the nation of Edom. All right, which is the biblical nationality of the self-proclaimed white people. All right, whose bloodline derives back to Esau, Edom. All right, whoever's bloodline derives back to Esau, Edom. So this is on AFP platform under the military section. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this update very brief and concise through a couple of articles. All right, and it says here in the military section, all right, the state of or the Israeli state, the Amalekites, eliminates Hamas commander in Lebanon strike. It says Amalek, right, the Israelis eliminated commander of Palestinian militant group Hamas on Friday in a pre-dawn strike in the Lebanese port city of Sidon that also eliminated his adult son and daughter. Okay, it's further confirmed that Esau is reckless. These Edomites are reckless with their military pursuit, after their enemies, to justify, their wicked global aspirations through this satanic NWO by any means necessary at the expense of many lives. Because obviously the multitude of people that they have eliminated, since October 7, 2023, has not been predominantly militants. It has, highly consisted of women and children. Okay. And they're quite aware of that because Esau doesn't give a shit. Right? He is the man of sin and son of perdition. So it says, right, so that's pretty much the point there. Now, this attack came shortly after they eliminated the Hezbollah official and Iran's Quds force a few days ago on Tuesday. Security officials said on this article entitled "Hezbollah Quds Force Official Eliminated in Israeli Airstrike in Beirut," which is the capital of Lebanon. It says Hassan Badir, a Hezbollah and Quds Force official who allegedly helped Hamas plan an attack on the Israelis, as they reported, was one of 4 people eliminated in the latest airstrike in Beirut's southern suburbs, a local security official told Reuters. All right. So under the guise of terrorism, Amalek, the chief family of the Edomites, are going to continue their pursuit of their enemies, of the dragons of Arabia, these so-called Muslim nations, including, the nation of Ishmael, modern-day Arabs, and specifically their main target at this point, of the dragons of Arabia being the nation of Elam, all right, specifically, the modern-day Persians, aka Iranians, all right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20. And it says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh by Shemeshai that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes, that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out," or being Amalek, all right, the Israelis. "Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." All right, it says, why? Because you devils are destroying the earth. All right, and this is why you're gonna reciprocate destruction from the hands of these same enemies and Yahushua and angels in the midst of this last world's war, Harmageddon. This is Jeremiah 49:21. It says, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea, all right, in the so-called Middle East, all right, in the area of heavy military conflict, of these military skirmishes, along with these geoeconomic, influenced by these geopolitical skirmishes, all right, transitioning to full-fledged military skirmishes, causing, including or increasing death, all right, around the area, around the Persian Gulf, around the Euphrates River, the biblical area of Yahweh Shaphat, okay, and just to bring out another report. This is let me see here. There's a report that I just seen. Yeah, it's on Express US. It says U.S. airstrike eliminates 70 Houthi militants in Yemen Red Sea. You can't make this up, man. It says as targeted terror plot foiled. See that? And this attack was also carried out on Tuesday the 2nd. Coincidence? Same reason why it was a coincidence that the secret war plans of against Yemen was leaked on behalf of Trump's team. All right, so you devils being further exposed, man. All right, so this is on top of that. Matter of fact, let me just go and get this. It says also the Carmanians raging in wrath. Start at verse 20. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as a wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. It says the dragons of Arabia, the Muslim nations, once again. So it says, verse 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as a wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Meaning what? They're going to be coming with the military equipment, which links up with the prophecy in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, how they're going to be equipped with their, that very equipment, their bucklers and shields and helmets and so forth. Okay, including the Persians in Ezekiel the 38th chapter. All right, that also the modern day Iranians, case in point. All right. So, 1 second. All right, so this is, here's a point in verse 30. Also, the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as a wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right. And the Carmanians are the modern day Iranians. All right. That's why, once again, one of the cities in Iran, Kerman, all right, it originates back to Carmania, ancient Carmania, because it's the same people. All right. So these Carmanians are going to be raging against their foes, against these modern day Syrians. All right. Referring to which Assyria is another code name or alias, or a biblical prophetic alias for the whore, America, Babylon the Great, that sits upon many waters. Case in point. All right. Because the Assyrians, as is prophesied in Nahum the 3rd chapter, were known as a bloody nation. Okay. And how they persecuted and, destroyed and desecrated their foes, similar to America, similar to the Edomites of America, being merciless, against their foes. Okay. Including, for example, in regards to, that Hamas commander being eliminated with him, his son, and his daughter, so eventually the Carmanians are going to rage, and get their revenge. All right. This is, in the Southern book of Job 18 and 18. All right. Salakia. Job 18 and 18 says, start at verse 17. All right. All right. It says, his remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Because Esau's light, being that light is symbolic of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. All right. Esau's light, regarding the The parable of Lucifer in Isaiah the 14th chapter, meaning light bearer, referring to the illuminated, the self-proclaimed illuminated ones, the Illuminati. All right, these bankers, all right, that are the puppet masters, all right, of this perpetuated violence and turmoil in the earth. Why? Because in terms of war, all wars are bankers' wars. So that further confirms that they're behind it. Like Meyer Amschel Bauer said, a few centuries ago. And he said, give me control, roughly paraphrasing, give me control of a man's money and I care not who prescribes his laws. All right, so being that you devils have weighed the violence of earth in your hands, prophesied in Psalm the 58th chapter, all right, these nations are very privy to that. Okay, they may not voice that entirely in terms of being privy to you being prophesied to be the man of sin, the son of perdition, the destroyers of the entire earth. All right, prophesied in Revelation 6 and 4, Revelation 11 and 18 and so forth. So these other nations, especially the dragons of Arabia, through Ishmael and Elam, are well aware of that, are well aware of the lot of you Edomites in this grand scheme of things, prophetically speaking, and they will eventually retaliate in a full-fledged way, bombarding you with ICBM missile warheads. All right, it's just prophesied in scriptures. All right. Hence how you will be chased out of the world, all right, in destruction, all right, and you devils that are going to be hiding underground in your underground bunkers, prophesied in Revelation the 6th chapter, hiding under the rocks, hiding under the ground, you're going to be the first fruits of slavery by Yahweh Shai, the Alahayim, and by Yashar Odah, all right, the 144,000 elect governing body of the nation of Israel. All right, so this is some major news. I want to bring out a quick Harmageddon update. On top of that, speaking of you being persecuted by the enemies, China just retaliated against the U.S. with a 34% reciprocal tariff. Okay, further causing the Dow Jones Industrial Average stock market index, to plummet another 100 points. Further confirming that all wars are bankers' wars in terms of who's perpetuating, and this is going to further lead into the inevitable collapse of this U.S. economy, which is already over $36.6 trillion in debt before Esau ushers in this chip. So I'm gonna go end it off on a note. And I pray this this lesson was further edifying, exhorting to elect, and give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is the God of the living. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai Baruch Barash Abba Baal, soon very soon. Shalom Labachayim Shabayat Shalaki Shalom Labachayim Shal Bayashadabada Shah Yasharala, meaning peace to the elect of the house of David of the nation of Israel. All right. And on to the next one.